Welcome to final Christmas edition of Airchecks. The Sealtest Variety Theater, starring Dorothy Lamour as host and performer, aired during the 1948 to 1949 season, began more as a variety program, but later shifted to focus more on comedy, especially after Eddie Bracken joined the cast. This program was essentially a successor to the 1947 summer replacement series hosted by Lamour, front and center. Here is the Sealtest Variety Theater Christmas show as broadcasted on December 23, 1948.
Sealtest Milk and Ice Cream present Sealtest Variety Theater. Yes, it's Sealtest Variety Theater with Henry Russell and his orchestra, the Crew Cheeks Quartet, and those two wonderful people from stage, screen, and radio, Victor Moore and Pat O'Brien. And here she is, our gal Thursday, the singing star of Variety Theater, Dorothy Lamour.
Thank you and hello, everyone. I couldn't think of two friends who could give more of a Christmas glow to the proceedings than those two Yuletide boys, those jolly gentlemen, Pat O'Brien and Victor Moore.
Hiya, Dottie. Merry Christmas to you.
Well, thanks, Pat.
Yes, darling, for me too. Merry Christmas.
Well, what's the matter, Victor? You sound a little weak. The holiday beginning to get you?
Well, Pat and I were just downtown shopping. It's a funny thing. We met while we were looking for presents for each other. I was going to get him a tie.
I was going to get him a tie, too.
Well, what did you do?
Well, the stores were so crowded, we stopped and tied one on. I mean, you've never seen so many people.
Gee, I'll never forget the Christmas I worked at Marshall Field's.
Oh, you ran the elevator there, didn't you, Dottie?
Please, I didn't run the elevator. I was the engineer in charge of vertical transportation.
Oh,
I get it. You know, Dottie, here you are, a glamorous radio and movie star who's just won the Hollywood Women's Press Club Golden Apple Award for being the most cooperative actress of the year. And just a few short years ago, you were working as an elevator operator. Wonder if you ever think about the old days much.
Pat, I have a confession to make. Being an elevator operator is a very good way of making sure success doesn't go to your head.
What do you mean, Dottie?
Well, a lot of folks in Hollywood have found out that it's much quicker going down than it is going up.
Thank you, Dottie, Victor Moore, and Pat O'Brien. And please gather around the Sealtest Christmas tree for just a moment while we tell you about a special treat.
Get the best, get Sealtest.
Tell me, Dottie, what do you think is the spirit of Christmas?
Oh, it's a lot of things, Carlton. The twinkle of a star, the tinkle of a bell, a heartwarming welcome.
And that adds up to a bowl of smooth, golden Sealtest eggnog. Because this famous eggnog is a shining star in its own right. It's as merrymaking as tinkling bells, and the heartwarmingest welcome I know. Made in the famous Sealtest tradition, it has the rich, mellow flavor of real, old-fashioned eggnog. When friends stop in, give them a welcome brimming with the spirit of Christmas. Delicious Sealtest eggnog.
Get the best, get Sealtest.
And now Santa Claus has come down the chimney just 2 days early and has handed out a very special musical arrangement to Henry Russell and the orchestra. And because our own Dottie has been such a good little girl all year, she gets to sing Jingle Bells.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleigh bell song tonight.
jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. No actor who has ever been on the stage or screen has depicted as warm and as human a character as our first guest star tonight. His portrayal of the downtrodden male has earned him a warm place in the hearts of us all. And I can think of no one I'd rather introduce on this Christmas program than my good friend, Victor Moore.
Well, thank you, Dottie. And may I say something which I hope you won't take any offense at?
Why, certainly, Victor. What is it?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Victor, you're wonderful. And I hope the folks are going to like the little comedy sketch we've dreamed up especially for Christmas. Carlton, will you do the customary honors?
Right, Dottie. It's Christmas Eve in a modest little apartment. An apartment shared by two girls who work in one of New York's biggest department stores. Peggy Taylor is relaxing in the living room as the door opens and her roommate, Dorothy, comes in.
Well, how do you feel, Dottie?
Oh, brother, am I glad this is over.
Me too. This is the worst year we've ever had. Or should I say the best?
Kids. I've never seen so many of them. There must have been 1 million kids in the store today.
Yeah, I guess it's the same every year.
Yeah, but I keep hoping some year maybe we'll only get 500,000 kids.
What are you kicking about? You don't even work in the toy department.
Children's clothes aren't any cinch. Putting things on the little darlings, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off.
Well, it's all over now.
Who in the dickens is... Are you expecting anybody?
No, I'm not.
Well, might as well answer it.
Excuse me, but could I use your telephone for a minute?
Telephone? Why, I guess so.
I saw the light on in your apartment. That's why I rang the bell.
Okay, Santa Claus, come in.
Oh, you knew I was Santa, huh?
Well, your red suit and your white beard and your boots, I sort of put two and two together and figured it out.
Well, I'll only be a moment. I had a slight accident. I have to call the North Pole.
The North Pole?
Well, don't worry. I'll reverse the charges.
Now, that's nice.
Hello? Operator? Can I have long distance, please? Yeah, I'd like to make a long distance call, reverse charges. The number is Igloo 022002. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle. Oh, hello, Mom. Yeah, it's Chris. How's the weather up there, Mom? Cold? Cold down here, too. Good Christmas weather, though. The reason I called, Mom, I need another reindeer. We lost Blitzen. Yep, when we were flying over the Griffith Park Zoo, they made him a capital gains offer. Shoot down one of the spares, will you, Mom? I have to take care of Brooklyn. Oh, by the way, girls, what's the address here?
164 East 62nd Street.
Yeah. Send him down to 164 East 62nd Street, New York City. I'll meet him about 500 feet over the roof. Okay, see you tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Good night, Mom. Do you mind if I sit here for a few minutes until Mom sends the reindeer down?
You mean it's going to take a few minutes?
Why, sure. We're about 5,000 miles from the North Pole.
Oh, I see.
So you're really Santa Claus?
Yep.
You know, I've always wanted to meet you.
Well, thank you. It's awfully nice of you to say that.
Yes, there's always been one question I wanted to ask you.
What's that?
Who do you believe in?
That's a good one. But you know, there is an answer to it.
Is there?
Yes, I believe in little boys and little girls. I believe in all their little dreams. When they get older, I keep believing in their dreams, and that's why some of them come true.
Yes, I'm sure that's right. Have you been doing this sort of thing very long?
Oh, about 500 or 600 years. I sort of lost track. You know how time flies.
Well, look, mister, this is lots of fun, but let's play this game some other night.
Game?
Sure, the Santa Claus game.
Oh, you don't believe I'm really Santa Claus?
No, I don't believe it. You see, I'm a big girl now, and I don't believe in Santa Claus, the fairy princess, or the pot at the end of the rainbow.
Well, that's too bad. You must miss an awful lot of fun. You know, that's one of the troubles, I suppose, people not believing in Santa Claus.
One of what troubles?
Oh, the trouble with the way the world is. You see, it all started falling apart when people like you stopped believing.
Look, Chris, I haven't got any fight with you. You sound like your heart's in the right place, but no kidding. I'm awfully tired.
Oh, gee, if you could only see the expression on those kids' faces when they see this stuff in the morning. All over the world, it's the same expression, and it's wonderful to see.
Look, mister, you're a nice guy. I like you, and I think you actually believe what you're selling.
Of course I do. And if I could only get you to believe.
Oh, sure. I'll believe. I'll write a letter to Santa Claus.
Why write it? Why not just tell it to me? What would you like for Christmas?
What would I like for Christmas? I'd like to go to Honolulu. I'd like a mink coat. I'd like a new automobile. I'd like a house. I'd like $5,000. I'd like...
Do you want them very, very badly?
I want them so badly that... Oh, what's the use? You almost got me playing this game, too, Pop. No kidding. Don't you think your reindeer's here yet? It's been about 3 minutes since you ordered him.
Say, you're right. I think it is here. I wonder who Mom sent down. Probably Blitzen's brother. Well, thanks so much for the use of your phone, and good night.
Good night, Santa. Well, how'd you like that, Peggy? Wasn't he a honey?
Yeah, he was a cute little guy, wasn't he?
He looked like something out of a Keystone comedy. Wish I had my Keystone camera.
I wonder what his trouble was. I wonder how he got started.
Well, he probably saw Miracle on 34th Street too many times. Meeting a reindeer 500 feet above the house. Wow.
He had the cutest pink cheeks, though.
Yeah, just like Santa. Hello? Yes, this is Dorothy Arnold. Yes? What? Look, I can't take a ribbing like this twice in one night. What's that? The letter I sent in that radio contest won the giant jackpot prize. What do I get? A trip to Honolulu, a mink coat, a 2-story house, and $5,000 in cash. You're not kidding. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Dottie, you mean you actually?
I guess I actually did.
Dottie? Dottie, where are you going? Don't open that window. It's freezing. It's starting to snow.
I just want to see something. I just want to make sure. He was right. There he is. Reindeer and everything. There really is a Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas, Dorothy! Merry Christmas!
There are certain songs that have become associated with the Christmas holiday season. Certain songs that create a gay mood, a light mood, and a good kind of feeling mood. We can think of no one who can capture this mood better than the Crew Chiefs and Henry Russell's orchestra. Bundled up in their mittens and snowshoes, they usher in the Yuletide season with Winter Wonderland.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Run away. winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland.
California by the blue Pacific, the land of
Crosby,
Lamar,
and Bob Hope, to shoot a scene colossal and terrific. They manufacture snow by using soap. But if you still remember old Jack Frost in December, just pack on your duds, hop on a plane, head for Vermont, New Hampshire, or Maine. I'm with you in spirit, 'cause here I'm staying in my California winter wonderland. Get the best, get Sealtest.
Here's the way to have a delicious white Christmas. Whip up snowy mounds of Sealtest whipping cream. Then pile it high on pudding, pie, or fresh fruit. Float it on coffee or cocoa. And snow cap a bowl of Sealtest eggnog with banks of this luscious, lip-smacking whipped cream. Sealtest cream whips like a dream. It's extra smooth and rich, with a sweet, farm-fresh flavor that makes your best desserts taste even better. You'll want lots of top-quality Sealtest whipping cream for the holiday look, for festive flavor. Order it from your neighborhood Sealtest dealer. And always,
Get the best, get Sealtest.
Dottie, inasmuch as you and I are going to do a lot of kidding in the next few minutes, did I say something serious about your next number?
Why, certainly, Pat. It would be a pleasure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a few years ago, Irving Berlin wrote a song which was sung by American boys all over the world. Boys that were hoping and praying that they'd be back home for Christmas. Let's all pray that never again will any of them have to sing or do their dreaming on some foreign shore. Let's hope that we'll be celebrating this and many more white Christmases at home.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. it's time to meet again one of Hollywood's favorite sons. A man who is currently starring in the RKO Technicolor production, The Boy with the Green Hair, and whose thrilling portrayals of such characters as Fighting Father Dunn and Newt Rockney have brought to the screen believable portraits of what real, honest-to-goodness Americans are like. Pat, the top of the evening to you.
Thank you, and the rest of the night to yourself.
Well, Pat, my boy, why don't we let our broth of an announcer tell us about our sketch that's coming up?
It's all right by myself. But bear in mind, now, any resemblance between the football coach I'm about to play and any other football coach is purely coincidental and offside.
Okay, Pat. Carlton, while I put on my Lily Daché helmet, set the scene.
Okay, Coach. The time is late Saturday afternoon, and Aurora U has just defeated Pottsville City College 7-6 in the last regular game of the season. The victorious Aurora team is just trooping into the dressing room under the stands. The last to enter is Coach Pat Stonewall, his friendly face beaming as he gently closes the door.
Shut up! What a team.
Gee, Coach, we won, didn't we?
We won, didn't we?
Call that winning? Pottsville scored the first touchdown since 1935.
Well, we're still undefeated. We get into the Super Bowl game now.
Yeah, and what Cucamonga team will do to you guys in the Super Bowl shouldn't happen to Alphabet Noodles. Oh, my boys, my great team. What happened to you? What happened to my All-Americans?
Yeah, what happened? I fell asleep on the bench.
Shut up, Schmidt. When you left here to go out for the second half, I found this in the dressing room. A black lace handkerchief.
Gee, what nice perfume. Wave it a little bit more.
Who owns this thing?
A girl gave it to me for luck.
For luck. Well, you're lucky you weren't murdered out there this afternoon. You guys were all missing from quarters last night. Where were you?
Oh, we were invited to a girl's house for dinner.
The whole team?
Yeah. She likes football players.
Who is this dame? Who is this Mata Harry who's turning you into a crapleg for the Super Bowl?
Her name is Nanette.
Yeah, she made us sauerkraut and pig's knuckles.
Sauerkraut and pig's knuckles the night before a game, so that's it. You had indigestion out there today.
Yeah, wasn't Zach great? When he went across in that touchdown play, carried the ball, 3 tacklers, and 9 pig's knuckles.
I'll teach you to break training. Schmidt?
Yes, sir.
Who is this Nanette dame?
Oh, she's the dame who cooked the 10 pig's knuckles.
Okay. Get dressed and lead me to her.
Well, this is the place, Coach.
Ring that bell.
Well, hello, Schmitzy Witsy.
Schmitzy Witsy.
Yeah, it's a sort of a nickname.
Gee, I'm glad you came. I have something for you.
Yeah, you sure have.
Nanette, this is Coach Stonewall.
Well, how nice. I baked a cake for the boys.
I'm not raising a team of cake eaters. I want to talk to you. Beat it, Schmidt.
Yes, sir.
Well, do you mind if we talk in the kitchen? I'm preparing dinner.
Just suicide, or are you expecting company?
Well, I do have enough for 2.
Now, you're not feeding Schmidt or any of my boys after what happened this afternoon. I never saw anything like it. 11 guys. Sitting there on the grass, sending a water boy for bicarbonate of soda. Hey, what's that I smell?
Broiled sirloin, potatoes, asparagus, and biscuit.
Hey, it smells good.
It's too bad you can't stay.
Well, it ain't like it was pig's knuckles.
Well, sit down, Coach.
Well, I can't see any harm. All right, fellas. All right. I called here to tell you that, well, for every man there comes a time when he gets tired of doing his own cooking.
Holy smokes, the coach wants us to cook for him.
Shut up, Schmidt.
Yes, sir.
Old fellow. What I'm trying to say is that... Oh, for crying out loud. Nanette, come in here a minute, will you?
Hey,
Wow, Nanette's here.
The coach has flipped his wig.
What is it, honey?
Honey?
Fellas, Nanette and I got married last night.
Married? What's the matter
Boy,
with this?
she even cooked the coach.
I've always been like a father to you, and I want you to look upon Nanette as your mother.
Holy smokes.
Shut up, Schmidt!
Yes, sir.
Give them the gifts, honey.
Nanette has a good luck charm for each of you. Nice black lace handkerchiefs.
Who we playing in that Soup Bowl game, Vassar?
Don't worry. It's Cucamonga, all right, but you'll beat them.
Tough team, Coach.
Yeah, but they're all coming here for dinner the night before the game.
You mean the secret weapon, Coach?
That's right, boys. Pig's knuckles and sauerkraut.
Coach, that was an all-American performance, and thanks a lot for letting me be on the team. We'll be listening to you on your own new show, Pat O'Brien from Inside Hollywood. And now, in just a few seconds, we'll give you some great news about our guests for next week.
Get the best, get Sealtest.
Christmas comes just once a year, but Sealtest always brings good cheer, so celebrate with Sealtest. Serve red raspberry tarts to climax your Christmas dinner. This Sealtest dessert of the month even looks the part, with a Yuletide topping of green whipped cream on red ripe raspberries. The base is Sealtest vanilla ice cream, smooth and creamy, ice cream eating at its finest. That goes for chocolate chip ice cream, too, the Sealtest flavor of the month. Famous Sealtest vanilla ice cream, jam-packed with chips of luscious, bittersweet chocolate. Special as can be, and just the ticket to reward the treat trimmers tomorrow night. For happy holiday treats, get chocolate chip ice cream and red raspberry tarts from your Sealtest dealer. And whenever you crave ice cream, always
get the best, get Sealtest.
And here again is your mistress of ceremonies, Dorothy Lamour.
Victor Moore and Pat O'Brien, thanks for filling up our Christmas stocking with such wonderful fun. And another important thank you is heading in your direction because your appearance here tonight contributes to a fine cause, the establishment of the American Federation of Radio Artists Welfare Insurance Fund. Next Thursday, our guest will be that lovable actor, Lionel Barrymore, and that outstanding young comedian, Gary Moore. And now, Carlton, I believe you have something to say regarding that old slogan, the best is yet to come.
You're right, Dottie. 130 million people are grateful for what we have this Christmas, just because we live in America. But the best is yet to come. As abundant as our country is, we can have more of everything if we continue to realize that each American's personal standard of living will rise in proportion to how much all Americans produce, through better machines, better methods, and better teamwork.
Thank you, Carlton. And now until next week, this is Dorothy Lamour saying keep well, keep happy, and to the Hollywood Women's Press Club, a very big thank you. To everybody, may this be the best and the happiest of all Christmases.
Tonight's Sealtest Variety Theater was written by Howard Harris and Joel Murcott. Direction is by Glenn Hall Taylor. Tune in next Thursday at this same time when Sealtest Milk and Ice Cream again presents Sealtest Variety Theater starring Dorothy Lamour. And as our guests, Gary Moore and Lionel Barrymore. Sealtest Incorporated and associate companies are divisions of National Dairy Products Corporation. This is Carlton Cadell speaking.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
That was the Sealtest Variety Theater Christmas show as broadcasted on December 23, 1948. Command Performance was a radio program which originally aired between 1942 and 1949. The program was broadcast on the Armed Forces Radio Network, AFRS, and transmitted by shortwave to the troops overseas. With few exceptions, it was not broadcast over domestic U.S. radio stations. Most episodes of the program were produced before an audience in the Vine Street Playhouse in Hollywood, California, and recorded via electrical transcription. The weekly listening audience was estimated at 95.5 million. The first Command Performance was broadcast on March 1, 1942, almost exactly 3 months after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. It was produced under the aegis of the Office of War Information, and its success paved the way for the creation of the Armed Forces Radio Service in May 1942. Time magazine described Command Performance as being the best wartime program in America. However, very few listeners in the United States ever heard it, and it would appear that the Christmas Eve Command Performance of 1942 was the only program of the series to be broadcast to a general audience. Variety magazine commented on this, saying, "The War Department on Christmas Eve gave domestic listeners their first taste of a series that had been going out to the armed forces on shortwave for 43 consecutive weeks. The purpose of the special occasion, as Elmer Davis, Office of War Information Chief, expressed it in a foreword to the show, was to forge a link between the servicemen abroad and the folks on the home front." A recorded version of the show was short-waved, all over the world, the next day. Hope emceed, tossed off a monologue and crossfired with Crosby. A special treat in the vocal department was the version of Basin Street Blues that came out of the tonsil partnership of Bing Crosby and the Charioteers. Variety also observed that sometimes the language on these shows is just a little more robust than is passed by standard broadcasting stations. Jack Benny, as we recall, last Sunday night encouraged our fighting men to give him hell. Here is Command Performance's Christmas special from December 24, 1942.
Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America, as requested by you, the fighting men of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Command Performance, presented this week and every week till it's over there. Attention! Army and Marine Corps, count off. Navy and Coast Guard, hit the decks. All United Nations stand by for its Command Performance time in the USA. All during 1942, Uncle Sam's shortwave stations and radio networks of the United Nations have been shooting out this big show to you guys who are shooting it out with the Axis. From the fog-bound Aleutians to the steaming jungles of the South Pacific, you've written thousands of letters to Command Performance, and the letters were answered in person. Well, there's a victory committee here in Hollywood whose pledge to that worldwide victory committee of yours is, "Buddy, your request is our command." For this 1 hour on Christmas Eve, a man and woman you call Mom and Dad become part of your show. For tonight, for the first time over the 4 great networks and independent stations, the War Department of the United States of America presents Command Performance. At this moment, the Chief of the Office of War Information has a brief message. Go ahead, Washington and Elmer Davis.
On this Christmas Eve, all over the world, American soldiers, sailors, Marines, and nurses are listening to this program as they have listened for almost a year past. But tonight, it serves as a link between them and us at home. We're all hearing it, the whole American people, whether in the cities or on the farms or on ships at sea or in army camps or at the front. This program is nothing new for the men of the armed forces. For 40-odd weeks, they have heard these specially produced command performances sent to them by shortwave. And we have reason to believe that they think of it particularly as their program. What they want, what they ask for, the famous entertainers who have appeared on these weekly broadcasts have done their best to supply. Tonight, because it is Christmas Eve, and a Christmas Eve when a good many American families can't be together as they used to be, tonight the War Department has invited us to come together, all of us, as listeners to this program. For the first time, it is heard in this country, exactly as it is heard by the men and women who are serving the country abroad. In North Africa, in New Guinea and the Solomons, in China and India and Ireland, in Alaska and Hawaii, in Iceland and Panama, wherever on this Christmas Eve the American flag is flying. They're probably thinking about home tonight, most of them. Home which they are not likely to see again until the war is won. They are doing all they can to win it, and they have already written some glorious pages in American history. But the war won't be won until and unless we who are at home do our share too, making whatever sacrifices we must and working together as hard as we can. Whatever sacrifices may be asked of us as a necessary contribution to victory are trivial compared to what our men are doing at the front. Yes, and trivial compared to the sacrifices that are required of the civilian population of every other nation in this war. It's that kind of war. The kind of war that we can't win unless all of us, civilians as well as soldiers, do just as much as we can. So I hope that when the men overseas think of home tonight, they'll think of it as a place where all of us are doing our best, doing all we can to help them who are doing so much more toward the common purpose of complete victory. And now, command performance, dedicated to our armed forces over there.
Thank you, Elmer Davis, and to OWI for your cooperation with tonight's command performance. And men, hang on to your GI hats as your star-packed Christmas show starts rolling out of Hollywood with that Rolling Stone who's gathered millions of friends in the United Nations, the commanding officer of command performance and your master of ceremonies, Bob Hope.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob, Command Performance Hope, telling all you soldiers, sailors, and Marines that although Johnny Doughboy found a rose in Ireland, what he really wants is that stinkweed in Berlin. Yes, sir, it's a great thrill and an honor to be on this command performance show on this Christmas Eve, the time of year when everyone has a feeling of love. Boy, you should see all the young couples walking in the park, the fellow with his arm around the girl, and the man from the draft board with his arm around the fellow. But fellows, back home here, the women are making this a victory Christmas. My aunt is very patriotic. Yesterday she gave her girdle to the scrap drive. Now she's dreaming of a wide Christmas. And everything about my aunt is patriotic, even her dog. The other day chased me down the street, finally caught me and bit off the seat of my pants. Thank heavens it was Meatless Tuesday. But all the women are patriotic these days, and they're all doing their part. Today, wives are no longer backseat drivers, no sir. They sit up in the hood now with a straw and siphon the gas tanks of the cars in front of them. And lots of people are using substitutes for gas. One of the musicians in Al Newman's band filled his tank with whiskey, and it worked swell. Only that was the first time in history a Pontiac ever sang Sweet Adeline, staggered up Vine Street, flirted with a Buick, and spit in a traffic cop's eye. I live near Bing Crosby, and the Save Rubber were sharing the burden. One day he drives his car to the studio, and the next day I drive it. And people are really saving their tires. In fact, I was riding home in the streetcar today, and at Vine Street, Henry Ford got on. That's the end of that joke. I don't know where. What an end. All the women here at home have been marvelous. They do everything. Tonight I had a woman cab driver bring me down to the studio. She was wonderful. She was driving the cab with one hand and knitting a sweater with the other. In one block, she knit one, purled two, and hit three. And yesterday I had a cab driver who had a little baby right in the front seat with her. As I got out and gave her $1, the baby started to cry. I had to wait 5 minutes for the change. You don't get that at first, and it sneaks up on you, you know? And you hate yourself for letting it. Now, but fellas, let's start answering that GI Christmas mail to Command Performance. For you 20 pigeon experts in the amazing unit of APO 958, for Sergeant Sy and the mob in India, for Dutch Burkholder and you 25 men in Ward J in that Pearl Harbor Hospital, and for all of you down in the Caribbean, here's the #1 trio of the AEF, the Pennsylvania Polka, and the Andrews Sisters.
Strike up the music, the band has begun. The Pennsylvania Polka. Pick out your partner and join in the fun. The Pennsylvania Polka. It started in Scranton, it's our #1. It's bound to entertain ya. Everybody has the mania to do the polka from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. While they're dancing, everybody's cares quickly gone. Sweet romancing, this goes on and on until the dawn. They're so carefree, gay with laughter, happy as can be. They stop to have a beer, then the crowd begins to cheer. They kiss, and then they stop to kiss again. Strike out the music the band has begun. The Pennsylvania polka. Pick out your partner and join in the fun. The Pennsylvania polka. It's started and grandly done. Everybody has a mania to do the polka from Pennsylvania. While they're dancing all around, everybody's cares are quickly gone. Sweet romancing, this goes on and on and on until the dawn. Oh, ha, ha. Gay with laughter, the happy as can be. They stop to have a beer, then the crowd begins to cheer. They kiss, and then they stop to kiss again. Take your partner and join in the fun. It's on to entertain ya. Everybody has a mania to do the polka from Pennsylvania.
Wraps up that little thing. Thank you, Andrews Sisters, and thanks to a really terrific guy, Alfred Newman, who's conducting the orchestra tonight. Well, gang, old Sam. And that's with no prompting, Al. Well, gang, old Sam the mailman has brought Command Performance a truckload of your letters asking to hear from a kid named Junior. So, by worldwide command of the AEF, Harriet Hilliard and Red Skelton.
Hiya, fellas, and Merry Christmas. And being Christmas, we naturally have a lady and her little boy. Thank you. It's very early on Christmas morning, so Harriet, you be my mother, and I'll be the mean little kid. Hey, Mummy, are you awake?
Oh, Junior, it's only 4 o'clock. Go back to sleep till daylight.
Hey, Mummy, where'd that come from?
Sears and Roebuck. And go back to sleep.
Sears and Roebuck, he's That's silly. I told Small, I bet they got me from a cut-weight drugstore.
Junior, will you stop mumbling to yourself and turn over?
I can't turn over.
Why not?
Me chain don't reach that far.
Junior, don't say that. You're not chained.
Oh, no?
No.
What's that, the bells of St. Mary? Hey, Mummy, I can't sleep anymore. I want to go see my toys. I want to see what Santa Claus bought me. I'll get up,
What
too.
are you doing?
I'm getting up. I got one leg in my pants, and I got to keep hopping around till I catch the other one. Come on, I'll catch it. I'll catch it. Oh, boy, now I'll really catch it. Boy, I better get back in bed but quick.
Junior, you're going to get it if you wake your father. He didn't get to sleep until late.
Oh, that's nothing new.
Junior, did you happen to hear your father come home last night?
Who didn't? Boy, he's getting better, though. It only took 8 cops to bring him in this time.
Oh, Junior, how can you say things like that?
Oh, it's easy once you know how.
Something tells me you're looking for a spanking.
Yeah, some tell me I don't have to look very far, either.
Go back to sleep.
Now, let me get up or I will tell.
You'll tell what?
I will tell everybody you used to be a prize fighter.
I was not.
Oh, no? Hey, Battler, you're on next.
I'm worried at a bump. Now you're going going to get it.
Oh, you hit me, you hit me. You broke me with a whip. You broke me with a whip.
I broke your what?
Me hip.
Hooray! I guess I'll have to get up, too.
Yeah.
Get dressed and wash your face, and I'll take you down to breakfast.
Okay. Oh, boy.
But did you wash your face like I told you?
Yeah. Wipe me with the ears, too. Look.
I am looking, and it's awful.
Well, gee, you can't get rid of that dust bowl in one day, you know. I think I'll go downstairs.
You won't peek at the presents, will you?
You don't know me very well, does he, Paul? Oh, well, here I is, all alone. Gee, look how that banister looks. Kind of dusty to me. I think I'll slide down and dust it off. You know that vase has been handed down from generation to generation?
Yes?
Next generation's going to have to use a dicty cup. I think I will go out in the kitchen and fix my own breakfast. That's what I will do. I will pour the cereal into this little dish. Oh, and it's from Mummy's closette, too.
Junior! Meow, meow. Oh, that darn cat.
It always works, Boy, I wish that old cat would have kittens and I could increase production. Now I will crawl in the icebox and get me some milk. Oh, boy, I love milk. Oh, the door closed. How about that? That little light does go out. Oh, boy, it's a good thing it didn't lock. Now I will pour the milk over the cereal. I hope it's a kind of crickles and pop. Oh, boy, I love that kind of crickles and pop. Kind of stale, ain't it? Now, I wonder what Santa Claus brought me. I think I will sneak in the other room. If I do, I will receive a chastising. I shall attempt it. Oh, boy. Look at all them presents. Oh,
Junior, you weren't supposed to look at them.
Yeah.
But now that you've seen them, I guess it's all right.
Oh, boy, let's open them up. Mommy. Let's see. Open them up. Come on. Oh, boy, look. A drum, a bicycle, a train, and some little toy soldiers. Oh, dear me. I just happened to think.
Of what, Junior?
I'll have to wait 365 days before I hit the jackpot again.
Very good, Red. Very fine, Harriet. Well, gang, all during the past week, Spike Jones and the City Slickers have been haunting our local junk shops looking for toy instruments on which to beat out a famous old Christmas tune so many of you have asked for. So here it is, Jingle Bells, melted down and recast by that sensational novelty band, Spike Jones and the City Slickers.
The snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, hardly a toe.
Whoa, Comet! Whoa, Cupid! Whoa, Thunder and Blitzen! I gotta straighten out this fireplace one of these days.
that, huh? Who brought that barrage balloon in here? Say, when you were in school, fellas, the great thrill was to be a star and win your letter. But the letter that thrills the Hollywood star these days is the one you write from over there. And speaking of stars and letters, here's one of Command Performance's four-lettered stars with letters from the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard, Ginny Sims.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob. Hello, fellows. Love to Brodeur in Hawaii and your mother in Massachusetts. And to Dave Thorley and the radio girls in Argentia, Newfoundland. And Christmas cheer to the Southern gentlemen on the north end of the Alaskan highway. And say, Charlie Eaton, how are things in Egypt? Eldridge, what's new in New Delhi? Corporal Brubaker in Australia, you're doing just fine. And love from Anne. Now, I've brought all of you a little gift tied with the heartstrings of that girl back home. It's called Saving Myself for Bill. Thank you for the invitation. Dancing always gives me a thrill, but my heart wouldn't be in it, not even a minute. I'm saving myself for Bill. Since I left him at the station, other things are practically nil. For my heart's on a vacation, gone for the duration. I'm saving myself for Bill. Out there somewhere, there's a lock of my hair in his pocket, in a locket. This ring I wear shows how deeply I care for Bill. I always will. So thank you for the invitation. Dancing always gives me a thrill. But to be perfectly candid, my heart has been branded. I'm saving myself for Bill. Out there somewhere, there's a lock of her hair in his pocket. In a locket. This ring I wear shows how deeply I care for Bill. I always will. So thank you for the invitation. Dancing always gives me a thrill. But my heart's on a vacation, gone for the duration. I'm saving myself for Bill.
Very sweet, Jenny. Very good. And now, fellas, Command Performance answers mail from every corner of every one of the United Nations. It's the old groaner himself, Bing Crosby. Darn nice of you to dress.
Formal tonight, formal.
Formal? You got a shirt on. Is that a shirt? You get into bed quickly, don't you, huh?
Thank you. Season's greetings, fellows, and a Merry Christmas to you, High Horn.
Merry Christmas to you, short, squat, and melodic. Say, you know, you're going to wear those earmuffs all during the show. Look,
my cheek chicory. You don't like my cheek chicory?
Your cheek chicory?
Yeah.
Well, shut it. You know, Cross, we've been on a lot of radio programs together, big ones, small ones, long wave, short wave, but Command Performance tonight is going to be different from anything we've ever done before.
Oh, you mean I'm going to get a few laughs?
Well, not that different, no. Say, Cross, you were a little late coming down to the studio. Where were you?
Well, you know how Christmas Eve is, Bob, with the kids and everything. I was home.
Yeah? How are things out at Boys Town?
Oh, they're rugged, Bob, very rugged.
Yes, they are.
Tell the truth, I'm a little worried.
Worried?
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm dressing up as Santa Claus tomorrow, and I'm afraid the kids will recognize me.
Don't worry, Claus. The minute you put on that Santa Claus suit, nobody will recognize you.
Why not?
It'll be the first time in 20 years you've worn a coat and pants that match. Don't miss that.
It's the first time I had a coat.
But seriously, Bing, to get back to the program tonight, I can't get over this Command Performance. Imagine we're being heard by close to 1 billion people in nearly 30 countries.
Brother, when you lay an egg tonight, it's an international omelet, isn't it? Bob, I want to tell you this hookup is nothing compared to the radio we're going to have when this war is over. We'll have television all over the world.
Television, huh?
That's right, Bob. People will be able not only to hear you, but see you. They can use their eyes and their ears.
Well, do you think they'll appreciate my jokes just as well?
Say, they got noses, haven't they?
Oh, it'll be a great world. Just think of the possibilities in aviation alone.
Why, it'll be fantastic. Everything will be different. The planes will be so thick in the sky you won't be able to see the sun.
Well, in California, what's so different about that? Thank you, tourists. Thank you. Where were we?
I tremble to think, though, Bob, you know, with all those planes up in the sky, do you think the stork will be able to find his way?
To your house blindfolded. I understand you're making him go around to the servants' entrance now. Is that right? Go ahead.
Oh, it's Trapped again. You beast.
I had it. It's an ad lib for my writers. Go ahead.
It's going to be a great world, a grand world after the war. You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to build myself a brand new house, and I'm going to paper every room with the music of one of the famous songs of the war.
Say, that sounds like a novel idea. What are you going to use?
Well, I thought in my trophy room, I'll put Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition. And by the telephone, I'll put I Came Here to Talk for Joe. And in the card room, I'll put Be Careful, It's My Heart.
Well, where are you going to put Der Fuhrer's face? Are you kidding? We just didn't know how to time that, did we, old boy? Well, I guess that takes care of post-war planning, but right now I've got a little request here from some of the lads over there. Ready to cut one, Bing?
Well, get me on, Dad.
Oh, okay. Okay, fellas. The old groaner is ambling over to the post to team up with a quartet that's a sure thing in Harlem and down Park Avenue.
Where's the quartet?
And wherever you guys hear Command Performance. It's the Charioteers and Bing Crosby and Basin Street Blues.
Now won't you come along with me? Now won't you come along with me? Down the Mississippi, down the Mississippi. We'll take a boat to the land of dreams. Steam down the river down
to New Orleans.
There's gonna be a band there to meet us.
There's a band there to meet us.
Oh, friends to greet us.
Oh, friends to greet us.
That's where the old and the young folks meet.
Heaven on earth, they call it Basin Street.
Basin Street. That's the street where all the light and dark folks meet. Down in New Orleans, land of dreams.
You never know how nice it seems, or just how much it really means.
Glad to be, yes sirree, where welcome's free and dear to me, where I can lose
those doggone Basin Street blues.
Play a little of that piano on the air, will you, Jim? Sounds like a talent. Could be. Does it count? No, that's James Sherman. Lovely, lovely. Talk to me.
Now that was some sort of an excursion.
Just a new kind of a diversion.
Just a new kind of a diversion.
You'll have to admit that they swing out real sweet.
Heaven on earth, they call it Basin Street.
Heaven on earth, they call it Basin Street.
Thank you, Bing and the Charioteers. Well, fellas, the last command performance of this series will come from Berlin, with Hitler, Mussolini, and Tojo singing their swan song. And you guys in North Africa are printing tickets right now for that big show. And in honor of your work, we're honored to present a favorite of all Americans in this all-American fight for freedom, our beloved blues singer, Ethel Waters.
Thank you, Bob Hope, and God's blessings on all you boys over there. And now, folks, I'd like to sing the song I introduced in good old New York City in 1924, Dinah. Dinah, is there anyone finer? State of Carolina. If there is, and you know her, show her Dinah, with those Dixie eyes blazing. Who wouldn't love to sit and gaze into the eyes of Dinah Lee. Yet every night, why, how I shake with pride, because my dynamite love to wake up in the morning and hear the birdies say good morning, like they used to say good morning in my Carolina home. Oh,
Waters. It seems that practically every man overseas has written into Command Performance asking what's going to happen when Santa Claus meets up with Charlie McCarthy. Well, brethren of the AEF, there you have the $64 question. Presenting Charles Lawton with Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
It's Christmas Eve in the Edgar Bergen, Charlie McCarthy household. Charlie has just dozed off waiting for Santa Claus. Edgar has prevailed upon his good friend Charles Lawton to dress up as Santa to fool the little fellow. As we look in now, we see that Santa Claus Lawton has just arrived.
Oh, well, here we are. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Edgar.
Say, it's awfully sporting of you to dress up like that and come over tonight.
You know, I've always wanted to put something over on that little tyke. How is Charlie, anyway?
Oh, he's fast asleep waiting for Santa Claus.
Oh, he's such a cute little fella. Just look at him. I'll bet he's in dreamland. What is more beautiful, Edgar, than the innocence of youth?
I wonder what he's dreaming about.
Oh, Hetty, my darling.
Lawton, now you go over to the fireplace and pretend that you've just slid down the chimney, and I'll wake up Charlie. Now, don't trip over those andirons, will you?
All right, Edgar. It's terribly dark in here.
Yes.
I can't...
Well, are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, now, let's not have any scenes. No temper, you know.
Oh, no, don't worry about me, Edgar. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Ow!
Who's there? Who's there?
Darn those andirons, breaking my leg around here. I'll sue somebody for this.
Why, Charlie, look. Wow, why, it's Santa Claus. No.
Oh, yes, so it is. Ho, 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 I'm old Saint Nick. I'm a jolly, jolly fellow.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
All right. Don't knock yourself out about it. How did you get in here anyway? Now, don't give me that routine about the chimney.
Oh, so you don't believe I came down the chimney, huh?
No. Well, when I look at you...
Yes?
And then I look at the fireplace...
Yes?
It can't be done, that's all.
Now, stop this nonsense, Charlie. Why, Santa Claus has come all the way from the North Pole.
Yeah? So, Sandy, how are things with your toy shop? Have you run into any priority trouble?
Oh, dear me, no. We keep very busy. I have a lot of helpers. Little men, 2 feet high.
2 feet high.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Well, you ought to go easy on that stuff, whatever it is. Say, Santa Claus, what do you got in your hand there, that little bag?
Oh,
there?
just some candy, Charlie. Just some candy.
Oh, and how about giving me a piece of it?
Why, of course, Sonny. Help yourself. Have one.
Let's see. What kind have you got here?
Those green ones are good.
Oh, you have some licorice ones, too, haven't
The green ones have nice, chewy centers.
What's the matter with your licorice ones?
I like them.
Well, I like them too, so I'll take myself a mittful.
Take your mitts off those, and I'll break your arm.
Santa Claus, please, now remember.
Oh, yes.
Jolly,
Oh,
jolly, jolly.
I'm old St. Dick. I'm a jolly fellow.
What have you got for me?
Well, I have a big bag full of presents, Charlie, as usual.
What do you mean, as usual? Well, what you gave me last year, you could have slipped under the door. And besides, I don't think you're Santa Claus, if you ask me.
I'm Santa Claus, and I'll blast anyone who says I'm not.
Santa Claus, please. Ho, ho, ho,
ho, ho, ho. I'm old St. Dick. I'm a jolly fellow.
You're a phony, that's what you are. You're
I'll tear you limb from twig.
Now, Santa Claus, look what you're doing. Remember yourself.
Look at me. I'll be so excited my stomach has slipped its moorings.
Not only that, but your caboose is loose, too. All right.
Charlie, will you please remember you're talking to Santa Claus?
Somehow I just can't believe that it's him.
Well, if I'm not Santa Claus, then who am I?
Well, you know who you sound like?
Who?
A fella named Charles Lawton. He does a little picture work around town. Small parts.
Look, I've got press clippings that prove otherwise. After all, I'm a pretty famous fellow.
Ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho.
So I remind you of Charles Lawton, do I? Tell me, do I look like him?
Oh, you're not that homely.
Why, you nasty little snitch.
Why, Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho.
Nuts to ho, ho.
It is Mr. Lawton, that's who it is. We was robbed.
No. Well, Mr. Lawton almost got away with it, didn't he?
I had you fooled for a little while, didn't I, Charlie?
You didn't fool me. I recognized you under that jaw grass.
How did you know it was me?
Well, how did I know it was you? After all, Chuck, there's only one Lawton.
Oh, do you really think so, Charlie? That's very nice of you.
And the way you played the part of Santa Claus.
Oh, thanks very much. It was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh, you made him live.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes. No one but Lawton could have hammed it up like you did.
Well, buckle on your safety belts, gang, for we're taking off with one of the bands that rates tops with the AEF. Led by the man who's played so many Army camps that the total number is almost a military secret. Another command performance for the old Fez himself, Kay Kaiser.
Thank you. Well, Merry Christmas to 44 engineers at APO 861, and ditto to you medics at 514. Hi there, Mr. Law, over in England. Things are hunky-dory in Alabama. Yes, sir. Howdy to the Ridge Runners at APO 862. And good hunting to you Marines down south. Mighty nice of you all to invite us to your big Christmas Eve show, and we'd like to play the tune for you that I understand is the theme of you men out there. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
You've got to give him credit for a son of a gunner was he. Shouting praise the Lord, we're on a mighty mission. All aboard, we ain't a-going fishing. Praise the Lord, pass the ammunition and we'll all stay free.
thank you to Kay Kaiser and the whole gang. You know, by ocean liner, New Caledonia is 9,000 miles from 42nd Street. And Trinidad a long way from 3rd and Main, but your letters tell us that Command Performance is your bridge between the AEF and the USA. No blacked-out bridge, but bright with your favorite stars. One of these stars is a girl who's often crossed over to sing for you in the jungles of Panama and the white wastes of Iceland. She's making still another trip tonight. Fellas, Dinah Shore.
Hiya, fellas. Well, it's not the same old Christmas Eve without you. But when we take down those little trees in that front room you left behind, the lights will keep on burning in that window in our hearts. My New Year's resolution is to keep on answering those wonderful letters you write to me, care of Command Performance. So for the Flying Fortress Mob at APO 875, for Colonel Ned in Alaska, for good old Pat Wing 7, for all the jungle mudders down in Panama, for Hayes and Snyder and the Air Force gang in China, for Mac, Red, Clancy, and T-Bone, somewhere north of the farthest point north, for Colonel Ed, Marge, and Little Shug, and for all of you everywhere, this suggestion. As long as you're not in love with anyone else, why don't you fall in love with me? As long as you're not in love with anyone else, why don't you fall in love with me? You're driving me crazy, baby, trying to get. Will you tell me no, or will you tell me yes? You gotta go overboard for someone someday. Believe it or not, it's bound to be. As long as you're not in love with anyone else, why don't you fall in love with me? As long as you're not in love with anyone else, please, why don't you fall for me? You're driving me crazy, baby, trying to guess. Will you tell me no, or will you tell me yes? You gotta go overboard for someone someday. Believe it or not, it's bound to be. As long as you're not in love with anyone else, why don't you fall in love with me?
Yes, that's mighty oily, Dinah. Well, men, for a long time, Jack Benny has been feuding with Fred Allen. But thousands of you guys in the AEF have commanded that on this Christmas Eve, the feud should be patched up. And right this minute, the Martins and the Coys of radio are holding a special peace conference in New York. So hello, New York. Command Performance ready for Fred Allen and Jack Benny.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from New York City, we'll bring you two lads who, after a 7-year misunderstanding, have reunited in the spirit of the Christmas season. So here they are, folks, those two entertaining boys, the old vaudeville team of Jack Benny and Fred Allen.
Thank you. Pardon me, Mr. Announcer, but I think you have that billing a little wrong. The proper way to announce this act is Fred Allen and Jack Benny. You see, my name comes first.
What do you mean, your name first?
Well, if you will remember, Mr. B, I paid the room rent today. We are not sleeping on the fire escape tonight.
Oh, that's right. Introduce us again, Mr. Wells.
If you will.
Thank you. So here they are, folks, those two entertaining boys, the old vaudeville team of Fred Allen and Jack Benny.
Thank you.
Hey, wait a minute. I just happened to think of something. Mr. Announcer, my name should come first.
Your name?
Yeah, you see, I'm the guy that got our tuxedos out of hock. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
If it wasn't for me, you'd be here in your underwear tonight.
You wouldn't even be here, Mr. Bennett.
Wait just a minute. I can straighten this whole thing out very easily. Here they are, folks. Those two hams, Blue Eyes and Nasal Hazel.
Say, Jack, people, this is great, isn't it? 3 receptions and we haven't done anything yet.
Wonderful, yeah.
People are certainly, I wanted to get a little joke in if you don't mind.
No.
People are certainly saving their tires these days. You know, I was riding down 42nd Street there this afternoon on a streetcar, and Henry Ford got on.
Fred, wait a minute. Bob Hope just did that joke in Hollywood.
Well, I know, Jack, but there's 3 hours difference in time. That joke didn't even get here yet.
See, I thought you were just giving it another chance. You know? Freddie, Freddie, I'm sorry that
don't laugh if you're sorry. Play the if you're acting, if you're sorry.
Look, Freddie, I'm terribly sorry that I argued with you over our billing.
Well, I'm sorry, too, Jackie. After all, this is Christmas Eve.
Yes, sir. And, Freddie, you know what the greatest thing in the world is today? It isn't money, is it?
No, it isn't. And it isn't butter, Jackie.
And it isn't sugar.
No, it isn't sugar, Jackie.
I tell you, Fred, the greatest thing in the world today is friendship.
You're right, Jack. Friendship.
If you're ever in a jam, here I am. If you're ever in a mess, SOS. If you ever feel so happy you land in jail, I'm your bail. It's friendship, friendship. Just a perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgot, ours will still be hot. Lottle, dig. Oh, Freddie.
Yes, Jack?
I understand there's a shortage of fat.
Why don't you turn in your head? If you're ever up a tree, fall to me, I'm on key.
If you're ever down a well, ring my bell.
If you're ever lose your teeth and you're out to dine, borrow mine.
It's friendship, friendship. Just a perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgate, ours will still be great. Lottle, chop, chop, chop.
Oh, Jack.
Yes, Freddie.
I understand there's a shortage of heads.
Well, why don't you turn in one of yours? If they ever black your eyes, be wise. If they ever cook your goose, turn me loose. If they ever put a bullet right through your brain, I'll complain. It's friendship, friendship, just a perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forget, ours will still be it. It's friendship, friendship, just a perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgot, ours will be the nuts. Lottle, hep, hep, hep. Oh, Merry Christmas.
On the advice of our lawyers, ladies and gentlemen, we return you to Hollywood.
men, this is Bob Hope, speaking from the USA. You know, this is the land that not long ago had boundaries. An ocean on one side and an ocean on the other. Douglas firs and deep snow and good fishing to the north. Blue water and lilacs and hot weather and cotton fields to the south. You lived and worked inside those boundaries and thought it would always be that way. You worked at the shoe store in Peoria. Yet tonight you're over there in England and North Africa, and you fly hell out of your bomber and go through God-made storms of snow and rain and man-made storms of steel and fire. And then you write home to this radio program and say, please do a song for me. You were the clerk in the local grocery store, the young doctor starting out, the history teacher in Grand Rapids, the mechanic at the corner garage. Yet tonight you're blacked out on a freighter or standing guard over your brother along a path in the jungle. You were the guy who had never been to Nevada. Yet tonight you're at home in Fairbanks, New Delhi, and Chongqing. But, well, that's the way it goes these days. For the boundaries of land and water have vanished from all nations. And in their place, a single boundary of freedom is moving across the earth, as God meant it to be. But because of guys like you, when we think of America, we still think of Douglas firs. Because you guys are like those Douglas firs. And you're like the good fishing in the lakes and Coney Island and the cornfields and smokestacks. And you're like the little towns with the red water towers, and like Mount Rainier and Yellowstone and Highway 66. Because all those things are American. They were part of you when you left, and they will still be part of you when you come back. The stuff that makes Americans. And brother, they don't make better stuff anywhere in the world.
Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America, answering the personal requests of the AEF and our friends in the United Nations. All the personalities on Command Performance, as on all our programs, give their services to the cooperation of the Hollywood Victory Committee. Speaking for the AEF, we express thanks to the American radio industry, to the Office of War Information, and to the many persons who contributed to this special Christmas Eve edition of Command Performance. The entire cast, the studio audience, and the nation will stand at attention. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Has been a presentation of the War Department of the United States of America. These are the radio networks and stations of the United Nations.
That was Command Performance's Christmas special from December 24, 1942. The program was only broadcast over the Armed Forces Radio Network and not domestically. The show illustrates how Hollywood got behind the war effort, donating their time and talents to entertain the troops. Command Performance continued until 1949 or 1950 when budget cuts resulted in its cancellation. Here's Command Performance's Christmas special on December 25, 1943.
Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America, is requested by you, the fighting men of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Command Performance presented tonight as a special Christmas program for all the United Nations, and presented each week and every week till it's over there. Christmas greetings from the USA to the AEF and to you folks in the Allied Nations as the American entertainment industry joins with the Special Service Division of the War Department in Los Angeles to close the second year of Command Performance and begin another year of serving you fighting men and women who serve the cause of freedom. This will be a year of Command Performance rolled into one star-packed night. This will be Hollywood running wild on a gigantic spree. A celebration with more stars than the greatest world premiere in the history of the movie capital. This will be super colossal. In fact, I might go so far as to say that this Command Performance should be fair to middling. And here to knock a few fast ones down the third base line is that struggling young comedian who sat up all night shooting craps with Santa Claus, Francis Langford's bodyguard in North Africa, Bob Hope.
Thank you. How do you do, fellas? This is Bob Christmas Command Performance Hope, wishing you servicemen all over the world a Merry Christmas and saying that the way you pistol-packing papas are spread out, Hitler and Tojo will never get the lead out. Christmas, this is the time of the year all civilians go to restaurants, pick up the menus, look at the meat selections, and reminisce. But the last few weeks, everybody's been busy shopping and sending presents to the boys overseas. Crosby's got a novel idea. Crosby's going to find the boy who's farthest away from the United States, and he's going to send him a wonderful gift, Frank Sinatra. I sent my uncle overseas a bottle of scotch. He's the hardest drinking man in the Army. In fact, he's the only man who was ever awarded the Order of the Purple Nose. Do they laugh for me too, Kay? But Christmas in Hollywood is really different. In California, Santa Claus doesn't come down the chimney with a bag. He just staggers around the patio with a blonde. And this Christmas spirit of fellowship and goodwill has affected all the members of our armed forces. I saw a happy soldier walking into the post office with a package under his arm, and he was singing Sweet Adeline. I said, be careful, there may be an MP around. He said, who do you think I've got in the package? But I'm happy because I finished my Christmas shopping this morning, and I've been out all afternoon buying expensive price tags. I drove down to do my shopping, and I have a new system. I don't bother to look for a parking place anymore. As soon as I get near Hollywood Boulevard, I sell. And with those stores crowded, going up in the elevator, I had to pinch my leg 3 times to see if it was mine. My case comes up tomorrow. One little kid wouldn't get in the elevator. He didn't want to be a rising sun. But I'm more of a descending egg, isn't it, huh? And I've never seen such crowds of people. One store was so crowded they posted an hourly list of survivors. There was such a mob of pickpocket asked me to breathe in so he could get his hand out of my pocket. I walked over to a man with a gray beard and said, Santa Claus, what do you think I'll get for Christmas? He said, don't Santa me. I came into the store 3 months ago for some razor blades. What mobs? I wanted to stick a Christmas seal on a package, so I stuck out my tongue. Just then the crowd gave a push. The next thing I knew, a Cocker Spaniel was licking my face and saying, well, don't act so surprised. You started it. But I bought a nice gift for my girl, an ermine wrap. Well, not exactly ermine. It's really a brown rabbit that worried. But enough of that. You guys have gathered around the old Command Performance Christmas tree and hung up your GI socks. And old Professor Kaiser is going to fill them up with the stuff that's made his band a top favorite of the AEF. Here's the gang that stood by you ever since Command Performance was a pup. Kay Kaiser and the whole outfit playing St. James Infirmary Blues. Wonderful. Thanks to the great band of Kay Kaiser, who's here with a sprained ankle tonight, by the way. We'll bite into another chunk of that as the evening wears on. Well, gang, we've got a fella here tonight that you're always raving about in your letters to Command Performance. A lot of you argue that this boy's an institution in show business, but this being the jolly old Xmas tide, we're willing to settle it peacefully and agree because we sort of like this character ourselves. Fellas, a Command Performance for that inimitable buffoon, that incomparable raconteur, that titillating thespian, Jimmy Durante.
Stop the music! Inimitable buffoon, incomparable raconteur, titillating thespians. I don't know whether to thank him or sue him.
Well, Jimmy Durante.
Well, Bob Hope.
Well, the only...
That's a great line to give Durante.
Yes, sir. The only two guys that ever made a living by the sweat of their noses.
Let's not compare snoots, old boy. Yours is only in basic training, while mine is ready for OCS.
Well, let's not argue, Jimmy. What I want to do right now is to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, and a Merry Christmas to you, Robert, plus a usual low-tide greeting.
Low-tide? Just a minute, Jimmy. You mean Yuletide.
Robert, I know where my greetings come from, and it's low-tide. I'm sorry I said that, Robert. After all, this is Christmas, the time of the year for giving and receiving.
That's right. This is the time of the year for giving and receiving, Jimmy, but I tried it, and it didn't work.
Why not?
I don't know. I guess what I had to give, Dorothy Lamour didn't want.
I admire her foresight.
Oh.
Not to mention several other things.
Yeah. You've been hearing. I sent Bing Crosby a present, too, a beautiful package containing 12 Frank Sinatra records.
That Frank Sinatra. When he sings, the girls swoon.
So what? When that Crosby sings, the stork swoons. Trouble is, the stork didn't swoon often enough. But, Jimmy, I heard that you dressed up as Santa Claus last Christmas.
That's right, Robert.
I suppose you stuck a pillow in your pants?
Naturally. But would you believe it? Before the evening was over, the pillow split wide open, and all the feathers came out.
I bet you were very uncomfortable.
On the contrary, Robert, I was tickled. I got a million of them.
Say, but climbing down all those dark chimneys, Jimmy, that's dangerous. I bet you were frightened.
Frightened? Robert, I was putrefied.
Putrefied? Jimmy, they lifted the dim out everywhere else. How come you're still in the dark?
You slipped that one in.
Yeah. I wish I could pull it out right now. But look, tell me more about your playing Santa Claus.
Well, Robert, I even climbed down the chimney at Betty Grable's house, and there was a stocking, so I filled it up.
You filled it up?
Of course. What would you do?
I'd hang around and wait for her to fill it up.
I got a million of them. He had to say that one and that one. Then I left her house.
You left her house?
I climbed up the chimney.
You climbed up the chimney?
He reminds me of a parrot I once killed. I gets into my sled, but right away I have trouble with my reindeers. I yells, up, dunder, up, blitzen, up, dunder, up, blitzen. But they don't move. I go over to one reindeer and I whisper sweetly in his ear. He don't blink an eyelash. I whisper sweetly in the next reindeer's ear. He don't blink an eyelash. Then I whisper sweetly in the next reindeer's ear, and he don't blink an eyelash. Then understanding comes to me.
What is it, Jimmy?
A reindeer will only blink an eyelash at another reindeer.
Well, without your reindeer, how'd you get there?
Listen, Robert, I'm going to tell you. You know, I just got back to Hollywood today. And really, folks have got a lot to say. While I was there, I met President Will Hayes. And what he told me put me in a daze. Why, for days and days and days and days and days and days for a week. Everybody puts an extra note. I'll give you $50 you show me that note in the music. He's showing me the music. Too bad I can't read. What a racket that leader's got with the stick. I wonder what he'd do with the stick if the band didn't show up. Mr. Hayes says, Jimmy, you've been invited to entertain at the White House. He said it'll be a gathering of the intelligentsia, the hoi polloi, the 400, the 300, the 200, the 100. That's when I walked in. Mr. Hayes says, Jimmy, what you do when you're called upon to entertain? I said, Mr. Hayes, what'll I do? Why, in the midst of festivities, I'll get up, and do my strut away. In my cutaway, it's just a hop away, a slide away, and a scram away. And then you skid right down, you go to town with a twist away. When you spread away, this way it's a holiday. You know, all over town, they're doing the Susie Q. Why, they did that dance years ago on the Rue de la Pooh, but not my strutaway. In my cutaway, why, it's a dance that's gonna gain great renown. You know, I walked into a drugstore. Now tell me, just what did you accomplish? You know, I walked into a drugstore and I ordered a banana split with whipped cream. Went for nothing. The guy hits me on the head with a bottle and said, "Consider yourself launched." Well, I'm a gentleman. I apologize, but he wasn't satisfied. He demanded an autopsy. So I ups to him. I face with my right. I face with my left. I sees an opening. I'm flat on my back. So what did I do? I did the crawl away, not the strut away. Did you ever have the feeling that you wanted to do the strut away, the hop away, the scram away, and then you skid right down and you go to town doing the strut away, the scram away, the hop away. Hey, hey.
Thank you, Jimmy Durante, and may the Happy New Year be as slap happy as the old one. Thanks, too, to the 370th Army Air Forces Band of the San Bernardino Air Service Command. Gentlemen of the AEF, a word to the Army. We do not here highlight one fighting outfit above another, but at this moment, your Christmas command performance takes you to Washington for a greeting from Army's Chief of Staff, General George C. Marshall.
Christmas this year finds our Army deployed in greatly increased strength throughout the world. An army of battle-tested veterans. Victories, some of them great victories, are constantly being won in the air, on the ground, and over the beaches of the Aleutians, the far Pacific and the Mediterranean. German industries and cities are being pounded to a pulp. The German and Japanese air forces are being bled white with rapidly accumulating losses. However desperate the fighting or difficult the climate, however tragic the losses of fine young American lives, our opponents are suffering far more severely, and suffering with the knowledge constantly before them of impending defeat and destruction. All America is filled with pride in the feats of the Army. The troops at home, inspired by what has been done in the field, are impatient to get into the fighting. Every resource we possess is being employed to hasten the victory. Wherever you are, especially you in lonely, isolated posts, this Christmas message goes to you with my heartfelt thanks, with my prayers for your success and safety, and with complete confidence in your soldierly determination to crash through every barrier and enemy to a triumphant test of our democracy and of our people. God bless you all. May your Christmas be a cheerful one.
On the list of American girls who have cut a niche on that GI Hall of Fame is a gal named Frances Langford. I know of a few 100,000 of you who've said you'd never hope to meet a finer girl than Frances, and brother, you're on the beam with that sentiment. Fellas, a Christmas command performance for Frances Langford.
Thanks, Bob, and Christmas greetings, fellas. It's been customary during the last year to try and answer those swell letters you write to us on command performance, and I wouldn't want to break an old custom. So before doing the tune that I get the most requests for, I'm sending love to those BCOs in England, to the officers' mess at the RNAZ station in Waipapakura, New Zealand. And there's an Irish girl named Frances Daly at the Air Ministry in London who speaks pretty highly of you American boys, particularly one of you at 528. Hello to Joe and Boots and the 8 Baldoos gang at 948, including Sam, Mike, Joe, and Piper. And to Private Vera L. Forey and 14 ATS girls in the military hospital in North Wales. And I don't mean working there either. They're casualties. This only hits a few spots on the mail route, but to the many of you we've learned to know by your handwriting and your APO numbers, may the new year bring you all home safely. And here's that number. Like the beat, beat, beat of the tom-tom when the jungle shadows fall, like the tick-tick-tock of the stately clock as it stands against the wall, like the drip, drip, drip of the raindrops when the summer shower is through. So a voice within me keeps repeating, you, 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 night and day. You are the one, only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are. I think of you night and day, day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you night and day, night and day. Under the hide of me, there's no such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torments won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you. Day and night, night and
Thanks and Merry Christmas, Francis. You know, we got so many bands here tonight that if we had egg sandwiches, lager beer, and ants, this command performance would be a musician's union picnic. Well, men, if you're ever in New York and feel up to a little high-class slumming, the place to go is Duffy's Tavern. At Duffy's, they have a choice of food anywhere from pig's feet to pig's knuckles, and silverware from every depot restaurant in America. The head cheese at Duffy's is an amiable bartender named Archie who shakes up the King's English and week after week pours out one of the most popular radio shows in the nation. If my brother Jack wrote this, he'd be on the county in the morning. But here he comes, full of Christmas cheer, Ed Archie Gardner, right here. Robert, thank you very much. Archie, tell me, this boss of yours, Duffy, is he as dumb as they say he is?
Is he as dumb? Courage forbid. He couldn't be. Yet the guy has certain moments of lucidity, you know. Take how he manages our ball team, the DAAIY.
The DAAIY?
Yeah, Duffy's All-American Irish Yankees. Duffy was the only guy with the brains that discovered one of the greatest two-headed pitchers that ever lived.
A two-headed pitcher? A two-headed pitcher?
Yeah, two-headed pitcher. You see, one day Duffy says to Dugan, the shortstop, he says, Dugan, we got a great ball club here, but it lacks color. What's the answer, you see? So Dugan says, color, huh? He says, I don't know whether this is it or not, Duffy, but I think I know where I can lay my hands on a pitcher with two heads. You know? So Duffy says, a pitcher with two heads. I don't know, Dugan. You think it'd be a novelty? So Dugan says, what if it ain't? Where can you get a guy that can watch first and third at the same time? So Duffy says, yeah, that's an angle. He says, besides, he'd be a natural for double-headers. So he says, what's the guy's name, Dugan? You know, so Dugan says, well, his real name is Tom and Arthur McGinnis, you know. But for some reason or other, he's called Two-Top Gruskin. So Duffy says, Two-Top, I wonder why they call him that, you know. So Dugan says, I don't know, maybe on account of the two heads, you know. So Duffy says, what a funny nickname. You know, he says, where's the guy from? So Dugan says, he's from Walla Walla.
Well, look, Archie, did you actually see this two-headed pitcher yourself?
You doubt my vivacity? Of course I seen him. I seen him the first night he comes into Duffy's Tavern, you know, all dressed up formal in a tuxedo, you know, sign a contract. So everybody in the joint stares at the guy, you know. The two-headed guy turns to the crowd, you know, they're staring at him. He says to them, he says, what's the matter? None of you guys ever see a tuxedo before? Yeah, so, of course, Duffy's the diplomat, you know. He quick covers the embarrassment. He says, way to bring the gentleman 2 beers. You know? So he says, stick around, Two-Top. There's a masquerade tonight, you know. It's a masquerade that we had. And the funny thing, Bob, Two-Top wins first prize at the masquerade, you know. Comes as a pair of bookends. Yeah. Yeah, with a little book between his two heads, you know, a little book that his mother gave him called My Son, My Son. Well, anyways, Duffy says to him, he says, Two-Top, I'm a man of few words. Report at the ballpark tomorrow morning. There's a uniform and 2 caps waiting for you in the locker room.
Well, how did he get along in the ball club?
Well, not too good. You see, the trouble starts in the first game. We got this catcher, Gorilla Hogan, you know, a natural-born catcher, stands 6 feet 14 inches high. And he squats standing up. Yeah, it looks like he just stepped out of a jungle, you know, a veritable gargantua, you know.
Sounds like a monstrosity.
Yeah, swell fella. Well, anyways, the trouble starts right away. You see, the gorilla signals for fast curve, you see. So the two-headed guy nods one head yes and shakes the other head no. Well, this naturally confuses the gorilla, you know. He ain't a bright guy anyhow. Even for a gorilla. So he makes a beeline for Duffy. So the gorilla says, Duffy, I'm getting sick and tired of nothing but two-headed pitches around here. See, so Duffy, you know, calms him down. He says, cool off, gorilla. Go out and talk things over with a guy. After all, 3 heads is better than 1. So the gorilla says, it's no use, Duffy. You know, I just got a feeling that the guy ain't quite normal. So he says, Duffy, I'm quitting. It's either either him or me, you know. So choose. And don't forget who owns the baseball.
And that was Two-Top's finish, huh?
Yeah, it was his finish, and it was sad, you know, the way the lumps come up in his throats when... Oh, and Duffy told him that he had to go. The guy really liked to play baseball, you know.
Well, what's he doing now?
Oh, he went back to his old job, watching tennis matches for Pate News.
Yes, sir. and Command Performance swings the international rangefinders around next to pick up all APO and FPO numbers, where Nelson Eddy is a solid favorite. Solid Eddy, we call him. Good cheer to a guy who scattered plenty of cheer around this past year, Nelson Eddy.
Thank you, Bob, and hello, fellas. Along about this time of the year, the air is thick with New Year resolutions. Personally, I haven't caught up to my 1941 resolutions. Of course, most resolutions are tough to keep, so I'm going to make just one that'll be a cinch. Namely, to pop around to Command Performance and do my stuff whenever you guys cue me in with your letters. Tonight, we can't spend much time dropping letters in your post box because the line here is a mile long. But a quick note of Christmas greetings to all points of the GI compass, and a howdy to a gang of Canadians in London, including Mac, Shrimp, Baldy, Slick, Eddie, Beautiful, and Jiggerbag. And here's a song I put beneath your tree. When times were dark came Noah's Ark, oh man. When lions roared came Daniel's Lord, oh man. Lord help those who pray, and on Judgment Day, if you believe he shall receive you home. And when you're down and out, lift up your head and shout, there's gonna be a great day. Angels in the sky promise that by and by there's gonna be a great day. Gabriel will warn you some early morn. You will hear his horn. Tootin', it's not far away. Hold up your hands and say, there's gonna be a great day. There's gonna be a great day. There's gonna be a great day. Gabriel will warn you some early morn. You will hear his horn. Road-a-doo-tootin', it's not far away. Hold up your hands and say, there's gonna be
somewhere about the historic explosion of the volcano Krakatoa in 1883, when a whole island in the Thunder Strait blew up, scattering ashes across the entire Earth. That was the loudest noise the world ever heard prior to Spike Jones and his City Slickers. But don't let them kid you. This outfit is a musical organization. The fact that Spike uses a washboard for certain tonal effects is merely a sign of the times. These kids are doing their own laundry. Tonight, the City Slickers have prepared their version of Chloe featuring Red Engel and the Saliva Sisters. And if it goes good here, they're going to use it New Year's Eve when they headline the floor show at the Barber Stag Party. Command Performance presents Spike Jones and the City Slickers. Someone's calling. Hello. You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. Who is it? He didn't say. No reply. Night shades falling.
Why, you old bat! Empty faces meet his eyes, empty arms outstretched. He's crying through the black of night. I got to go where you are.
Whether it's here or whether it's there, I want to be there wherever you are.
If it's wrong, all right. I got to go where you are.
Thunder and lightning, shower and snow. When I hear the call, I gotta go.
I roam through the dismal swampland, searching for you. Oh, if you are lost there, let me be there. 2, 3, 4, 4. Through the smoke and flame, I got to go where you are.
Hello, Chloe. What are you doing? I just came back from a vaudeville showing.
For no place can be too far where you are. Ain't no chains can bind you. If you live, I'll find you. Love is calling me. Hello. You don't say. You don't say. Who was it? Same guy. I got to go where you are.
Every bat cave in the swamp. I'll bet I'll never find you.
But if you are not there, let me be there too.
Yeah, she must be using vanishing cream.
And if you lose, ha-ha, I'm going to find you, my pretty baby. Love is calling me. Hello. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Who was it? Pistol packing mama. Oh, I gotta go. I got to go where she's at.
Thank you, Spike Jones and the City Slickers for that touch of French drama. Now, fellas, not a single day goes by that old Sam the mailman doesn't drop in with a satchel full of letters from you guys, putting the bee on us for more and more of the music of Ginny Sims. Ginny has commuted back and forth between the movie set and command performance for the greater part of the last 2 years. And from a usually reliable source, in this case, La Belle Sims herself, she has already budgeted her time for 1944 to handle all future requests. Greetings to Ginny Sims.
Thank you, Bob. Hi, fellas. And all of our love to all of you on this Christmas occasion. My greeting card, by way of command performance, goes to all APO and FPO numbers from the China Coast to the Gold Coast of Africa. But I'll post a couple of extra greetings right now to Nernblatt, Sarge Saunders, and the RAF gang at Dorset. That's Red Nunn, Old Bill Whitlock, Algie O'Neill, Dan Fowler, and Snowball Shingle. And over in Blackpool Lanes, A.S. True says, after we win the war, I'm coming to America to visit the stars. But meantime, keep me going with command performance. Our best to Chester Dennis in that weather station way out on the African desert. And love from the gang at home to Sarge Benny Reyes somewhere in the South Pacific. And fellas, how about this? Dennis Riding, a British infantryman, is in Ward 1 at the hospital in Carluke, Scotland. And he says, I'm back from the fighting in Tunisia, and maybe I shouldn't make a request because I'm really not overseas now. Well, Dennis, every word and every song are for men like you. But fellas, time's wasting now, so with a wish for a happier new year for all of you, here's one of your good old favorites, You'll Never Know. Never know just how much I miss you. You never know just how much I care. And if I tried, I still couldn't hide my love for you. You ought to know, for heaven I told you so. A million or more times. You went away and my heart went with you. I speak your name in my every prayer. If there is some other way to prove that I love you, I swear I don't know how. You never know if you don't know now. You went away and my heart went with you. I speak your name in my every prayer. If there is some other way to prove that I love you, I swear I don't know. Never know if you don't know now.
The great American said, without a decisive naval force, we can do nothing definite, but with it we can do everything honorable and glorious. Well, in that book of Victory of the Armed Forces, Navy is writing a glorious chapter. And it's our privilege on this Christmas occasion to bring to you, men and women of our first line of defense, the voice of Navy's chief. We take you to Washington and the Secretary of the Navy, Mr. Frank Knox.
Today we observe the birth of the Prince of Peace in a war-torn world. That cannot help but seem a travesty on the meaning of the day. Our comfort and inspiration is that this world is 1 year nearer to the preservation of the principles taught by the Master. Since I cannot personally greet each man and woman in the United States Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, I take this method of wishing you well and expressing my hope that all of you will have a successful year to come. We are joined in a struggle against evil forces that challenged our right to try to live as Christ taught. He lived and died that men might be free, and gave us the ideals of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Unfortunately, there arose to positions of power men who were ambitious to substitute a philosophy of cruelty, force, and slavery for the ideals of charity, goodwill, and peace. To them, our way of life was a sign of weakness. They are beginning to find out how wrong they were. I know that many of you are observing Christmas in strange and unhomelike surroundings, with the sounds of battle in your ears, many more on ships at sea. Your thoughts are naturally turned back to a familiar street, or farm, or community here at home. I can assure you that all our thoughts are equally turned to you wherever you are. We are joined in spirit over thousands of miles. The months past have been hard ones, but for our cause, they have also been successful. Our losses have been great, but the enemy's losses have been infinitely greater. During the time since last Christmas, we have learned much in the coordination of efforts, in the ability to work together with our allies. At the same time, builders at home have added hundreds of new ships and thousands of new planes and guns to make us stronger and more able to carry the tremendous task before us. We face what lies ahead with confidence, a confidence born of the knowledge that well-trained men and resolute women of the services are determined to end this struggle with victory in the shortest period of time. Although my brief words of greeting to you at this time can in no way substitute for the presence of those you love at home, I can speak for all the men, women, and children of this nation in expressing that trust and faith in your ability. The freedom-loving peoples of the earth are engaged in a struggle against tyranny and to liberate from bondage the millions who are snared by the chains of Nazi greed and brutal Japanese militarism. I wish you good hunting in that fight. As individuals and as fighting units of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, a Merry Christmas to you and a fruitful and victorious New Year. Let your strength be in this thought, that each move forward brings us all closer to the celebration of a peaceful and secure Christmas Day, when this world of ours will be a better place in which to live.
Well, gang, when it comes to four-part harmony tailored to fit the tastes of the four branches of the armed forces, that aggregation familiar to all of you as the charioteers sort of rings the bell and wins the cigar. They've gotten to be quite a habit on command performance, singing everything from the old Methodist hymns to Pistol Packin' Mama. Reading from east to west, these lads are tenor,
Wilfred Williams.
second tenor,
Edward Jackson.
baritone,
Ira Williams.
bass,
Howard Daniels.
Brother James Sherman on the 88 and the charioteers doing Ride, Red Ride.
Oh, the name of the song is Ride, Red, Ride, Ride, Red.
Take you to the runny side and ride, oh, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it.
All right, slide, red. Take your two-boat from your side, red. Stick out your chest with pride. Don't be ashamed when I call your name. I give you the send me with the rhythm you win me. Well, it takes the whole town red. Boy, you heard what I said. Goodness gracious, you thrill me bodacious. So ride, red, ride.
Take your trunk from your side, red. Stick out your chest with pride, red. Don't be ashamed when I call your name. Okay, will you send me with rhythm you win? Well, it paints the whole town red. You heard what I said. My goodness gracious, you thrill me bodacious. So ride, red, ride.
Well, London bridges are falling down. Why don't you help me go to town?
Charioteers, the big name band we've got on this Christmas show tonight has stuck closer to command performance the past year than a sailor dancing with Betty Grable. I'm referring to that big name Kay Kaiser. Yes, sir, when it comes to playing the camps and those 20,000-mile bond tours, this Kaiser outfit has broken plenty of records, and I don't mean phonograph records. It's another command performance for one of your best-loved band leaders, picture and radio stars, and the swell guy, the old fess himself, Kay Kaiser.
Evening, folks. Hi, y'all.
Evening, Kay. Hi, y'all, and welcome y'all to command performance. Shut my mouth and clamp it down and shut my kisser.
There's one command I'd like to perform.
Kay, I understand you just got back to Hollywood from another tour.
Yes, sir. And, Bob, I was so happy to be back in town, I kissed the sidewalk at Hollywood and Vine.
That's better than you usually do on Hollywood and Vine. But I guess you'd like to hear the latest Hollywood gossip, Kay. Do you want to hear about Lana Turner and Betty Grable and Rita Hayworth?
Sure do, boy. Tell me what's been going on.
And do you want to hear about Gypsy Rose Lee?
Yeah, tell me what's been going off, too.
Kay, the latest news is about the pin in Dorothy Lamour's sarong.
The pin in Dorothy Lamour's sarong?
Yep, that pin has been declared undemocratic and an agent of the enemy.
Well, what do you mean, Bob?
For years now, it's been carrying on a war of nerves against the American public.
Say, well, tell me more about the gals, Bob.
Just a minute, Kay. I don't see why you should be so interested in the glamour girls.
Well, after all, a fisherman is interested in fish.
Not without bait, he ain't.
You better watch your step, Bob. Another crack like that, and
You're telling me to watch my step. Success went to your dog, old boy. Look at that. You should see this mitten on Kay's right foot. Just read any line through there. It's all right.
Where were we? Oh, yeah. Say,
that's your end.
Say,
right
you
there.
better watch your step, Bob. Hope.
You're about 50 pounds off, old boy.
You better watch your step, Bob. Another crack like that, and I'll tell Crosby to leave you out of his next picture.
Yeah. Now listen, listen, Kay. Let's keep that overgrown jockey out of this. But tell me, have you had any dates since you got back?
Why, only last night I went out with a gal, but she gave me up.
Well, why did she give you up?
Well, she was a pistol-packing mama, and she wanted some live ammunition. But, Bob, I got someone here I want you to meet. Oh, Ish Kabibble.
Hello.
This is Ishkabibble.
Yeah? Why don't you take your problem to Mr. Anthony?
Say, Bob, you don't seem to understand. This is Ishkabibble.
Well, tell him to go back and come in with his face towards us, will you?
Bob, his face is towards us.
Then tell him to just go back, huh?
Just a minute, Mr. Hope. I may not be very handsome, but I'll have you know I got an IQ of 22.
22, that's lower than a moron.
Well, we can't all be as smart as you.
I can't say anything. I have no more lines.
Woo! Well, I think they're both right. But, Ish, tell me, why did you come out here?
I came out here to tell a poem.
Ish, I'll bet you don't even know what a poem is.
Sure I do. A poem is something that ends with June, moon, spoon, and rumble seat.
Rumble seat?
You know a better place to spoon?
Never mind, Ish. Just read us your poem.
All right, here's the poem. It's called The Night Before Christmas.
And it's recited by a nut before New Year.
The night before Christmas. 'Twas the crisp before nightmas, and all had a truce. Not a stretcher was creeching, not even a moose. The hungings were trimmed by the stock knew with care. In nicks that St. Hopeless soon would be there. Then house to the up-tops the reindeers all flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. Then I heard him explain as he drove out of sight, Merry Almas to Chris and to good and all night.
Slight correction. Merry Christmas to all and a good night to each. And now, fellas, the whole gang's going to dish out a very special greetings to you all from us all. It's Sully, Mason, Julie, Harry, Diane, Jack, and Max in Paper Doll.
When I come home at night, she will be waiting. She'll be the truest doll in all this world. I'd rather have a paper doll to call my own than have a paper minded real life girl. I'm going to buy a paper doll that I can call my very own. Why, a doll that other fellows cannot steal. And then those flirty guys with those flirty eyes will have to flirt with the dollars that are real. Oh, every night you come home at night, she'll be there waiting at the door. She'll be the finest doll in all this world. I'd rather have a paper doll I just call my own than to have a pickle-minded real life girl.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, children. And say, gang, you know, all during this past year of command performance, we've been answering your commands for the familiar sounds of life here at home. You've asked us for crazy sounds, farm sounds, city sounds, and anything that seemed to spell home to you. And lots of you have asked us to repeat them. So tonight we're going to do just that in a kind of a one-act play. Now, just imagine that a guy named Private Joe Goose is sitting up there at a lonely outpost on the Arctic Circle. He gets to dreaming of his hometown, San Francisco, the Golden Gate, and that symphony of foghorns booming across the bay. You know, Joe used to travel a lot, and he got to love trains. One thing he especially liked was the long, drawn-out whistle of the 20th Century Limited as she highballed it through the countryside. And, Joe kind of got around a little, too. You know, he made all the joints. The Rainbow Room in Rockefeller Center, the Stevens in Chicago, the Brown Derby in Hollywood, Elmer Snodgrass's biggest beer for a dime joint in most any town. And sitting up there on the rim of the Arctic Circle, Joe says, boy, would I go for the barkeep mixing me up a long, tall bourbon and soda. And no Mickey either. And one day, Joe gets a letter saying that Baby Joe Jr. has arrived. That the baby weighs 8 pounds, 3 ounces, and is a swell little guy. And Joe would give anything just to hear the sound of that kid's voice. Especially he'd like to hear him crying. And Joe thinks, hey, wouldn't it be nice for the baby to have little Johnny, that black cocker spaniel, for company? And what about Johnny? Wouldn't it be good to hear that little dog bark again? You know, and that gets Joe to thinking of when he was a little kid, how he'd spend the summer up in the hills of Colorado. And he'd lean against the stanchion in the cow barn while his Uncle Gus milked the cows. That was pretty music. Those two streams of milk hitting the bottom of that tin milk pail. Get any on you, bud? Yes, and Joe's mind wandered back to the present. And he wondered about Market Street in San Francisco. The Christmas lights on every lamppost from the ferry building out to the Market Street tunnel. For sure there'd be a Santa Claus every few feet. Fat ones and skinny ones, standing beside little buckets with the wire gratings over them.
Help the needy, help the poor, help the needy, help the poor, help the needy.
On this Christmas, with the United Nations steamrolling toward victory, Command Performance switches you to the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., for greetings from the Secretary of War, Henry L. Stimson.
In the midst of war, the coming of Christmas has a very deep and special significance. Christmas becomes the symbol of our hope for the future of our nation and its people. Irresistibly, our thoughts turn to the men and women in uniform who will spend this Christian holy day far from their homes, many of them on the field of battle itself, striving to bring about the victory which will realize this Christian hope of a future peace. These thoughts are in my mind as I send you my greeting. Whatever and wherever your station, I know that you are performing with soldierly devotion the duty to which you have been assigned. And at this Christmas season, I wish to express to you my profound appreciation of your fidelity and achievements. You have accepted hardship and sacrifice with a rugged fortitude which recognizes that these are the necessary price of victory. Your heroic deeds have been an inspiration to millions of your countrymen. To the love which your families and friends hold for you has been added the gratitude of the nation. In this spirit, I send you my greetings. Throughout America, the light of Christmas burns brightly in remembrance of you and in prayers for your return. God grant that your hands may be strengthened to hasten the day of final victory. Upon you and your comrades in arms, the world depends for the restoration of Christmas Day as a symbol of peace on earth.
Well, fellas, if somebody asked us what's one of the nicest Christmas presents you could give to the AEF, as good an answer as any would be a gal named Dinah Shore. I never did know which came first, Command Performance or Dinah, but they've been together a mighty long time. Well, where you find the one, you're pretty sure to find the other, and judging from those letters you send in, that combination is really the money in your book. A Merry Christmas to one of your best-loved gals, Dinah Shore.
Thank you, Kay, and hi, fellas. This is Dinah. I sure wish we could all be sitting around the fireplace talking about nothing much in general. Just sitting there watching our memories keep themselves warm in the fire. But a few little items like Germany and Japan are standing in the way of all that, but it's working out, and that day will come. Meanwhile, if wishing and praying can do any good, and I believe they do, you'll have good luck and good health during the new year. And though I'd like right here and now to get around to such way stations as China, Alaska, England, Newfoundland, the Caribbean, Sicily, Italy, the South Pacific, and all the rest with a hug and a squeeze from your loved ones here at home, that'll have to wait, too. But there's no waiting on a song that you love. With that wonderful Ken Darby chorus, I'd like to sing it for you now. Summertime.
And the cotton is high. Ah, your daddy's rich and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing, and then you'll spread your wings, and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, and many stand in the
Well, thank you very much, Dinosaur. Fellas, we've got some hot news to slip in right about here, and it calls for a commentator with a nose for news. And this guy's nose has been making news for years. Dr. Luke Snoot Hope. Doctor, would you honor us with a few words? God forbid.
Luke Snoot. Get the nose on an orchestra leader. He doesn't need a baton. Get a load of him, will you? And now, fellas, I'd like to present a couple of men you all know. And it took a lot of us to bring these two men together tonight. And it'll probably take a lot more to pull them apart. Jack Benny and Fred Allen.
Stop bowing, Benny. Every time that gray head goes by, it reminds me of Barbara Frietchie.
You're jealous, Fred, because I can bend without creaking.
Well, Jack and Fred, it's good to see you back together for Christmas and not fighting. After all, two middle-aged men should watch their blood pressure.
Look who's talking, middle-aged men. Listen, Hope, your middle is aged more than ours.
That's just a figure of speech.
Really?
Well, with a figure like yours, I wouldn't go around making speeches, Besides, Bob, you've got us all wrong. There was never any ill feeling between Jack and me.
What are you talking about, Fred? I heard you say on the air one night that Benny squeezed a dollar bill so hard that Washington got buck teeth.
He did not, Bob. All he said was, I wouldn't pay a nickel to applaud a bubble dance with a hat pin.
Sounds as though Hope's writer wrote that for you.
Yeah.
No, you fellas have got the whole thing wrong. I merely said that Jack took the first buck he ever made, slapped it on his head, and had skin grafted over it. Every time he walks down Hollywood Boulevard on Dollar Day, his scalp twitches. Bob, that was just a casual remark made in passing. There was no malice intended.
Of course not. Hey, that's a straight line. What am I doing with that?
I'd settle for a line, but just a second, Jack. How about the time you said Fred's eyes looked like fly specks peeking over two ping pong balls?
Now, wait a minute. Bob, now wait. I've got the face, and you guys are doing all the mugging. I mean, Jack never said that at all. All Jack said was that I looked as though Santa Claus had come down my nose and left a bag under each eye.
I did not, Fred. Remember, I said you were the only civilian I know with a sad sack under each eye.
That's right, Jack, and I think that's one of the biggest laughs you have ever gotten on the air.
Well, thank you, Freddie.
That's the spirit. That's more like it, boys.
What's more like it, son?
Yes, we can straighten this out ourselves, Mr. Skelton.
Please, that's the Sinatra of my life. Please.
You have a line coming up, Mr. Hope.
That's you, though.
All right, I'll give you the other line. Who asked you to squeeze toothpaste on these troubled waters?
Well, I was only trying to be nice, but that's out of character for me. I'm going to get out of here. You two guys lean on each other. So long. Nice exit.
Gee, he got a big hand there, didn't he?
Yes, Jack. People were sure glad to see him go. You know, Jack, is this the same program that Jimmy Durante was on? Is this the same program
I think
still?
so. I think so. It's supposed to be a Christmas program. I didn't think we'd get on till New Year's. Well, Fred, here we are, though. And am I happy to see you?
Yes, Jack, here we are, and am I happy to see you.
Gee, Fred, you're looking fine.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. You're looking fine, too.
Well, this can't last long, fella. Anyhow, Fred, welcome to California. What are you out here for? The orange picking season?
Well, I have been doing a little picking while I'm waiting to hear from Monogram. But I really came out here to make a picture, Jack.
A picture? Good. You know, things have changed since you made your last picture, Fred. They talk now.
Well, I talk a blue streak. I'm ready for Technicolor, if they talk.
Well, I see you brought your...
Now, wait a minute. That's my laugh.
I know. I see you brought your famous wit over the Rockies with you. By the way, where are you living, Fred?
Well, I've only been here 6 weeks, Jack. I haven't gotten a room yet.
Yeah. Well, it gets pretty chilly here at night, Fred. Doesn't the cold bother you?
No, I picked up an old Indian blanket at Albuquerque. It's a little crowded in there with the old Indian, but that's housing in California today, Jack.
You know, when you're away from home nowadays, Fred, things are pretty tough. Travel is difficult, too. Now, take my case. I've just returned from a 32,000-mile trip overseas where I entertained thousands of men.
I was waiting for that. I was wondering how you were going to work that in.
It was a thrilling trip, Fred. South America, Africa, Sicily, the boot of Italy.
The heel finally reached the boot.
Fred, you're jealous, that's all. When I was in Egypt, I did a special show for King Tut.
Now, wait a minute. King Tut has been dead for 3,000 years.
I know. He was a very tough audience there. And he still looks better than you do.
Well, I wouldn't talk. Every time I look at your scalp, I think of that song, The Surrey with the Fringe on Top.
I don't get the connection, Fred. I drive an automobile.
Well, all right. Surrey with the fringe on top, Maxwell with the jerk inside. What's the difference?
Lucky to you, Alan, that I don't understand that type of humor.
You don't understand my humor? Why, I remember you in vaudeville, Benny. The only reason you carried a fiddle was to beat off the audience.
Well, Fred, you never had to beat off an audience. For your first 10 years in the theater, you did your act in the men's powder room.
And that reminds me, Benny, you still owe me 40 cents for towels, by the way.
Ah, those were the happy days, though. Fred, remember the time we played South Bend? Krause and his mathematical cat were on the bill with us.
Krause with his mathematical cat. Remember the opening show? The cat had kittens on the stage, and we couldn't top it?
Yeah. Funny, too. You shouldn't have had any trouble with that puss of yours. See, I thought that would have been a yell.
I did, too. Puss seldom cat. Well, Puss has seen its best day, I guess.
Say, Fred, will you ever forget Mrs. Swallow's boarding house in Baltimore?
Oh, in Baltimore. I had a room, Jack, that was so small, the ceiling was so low, the mice had to run around on their hands and knees.
Well, Fred, in your room, they had to pray for something to eat.
Well, of course, in your room, they were sure of a crumb. They had little... But things were tough in those days, Jack, but we didn't mind, did we?
No, and I want to say right now, Fred, you were a real trooper.
That goes for you, too, Jack. You're the salt of the earth.
Thanks, Fred. But really, you shouldn't admit it. I mean, even if it's Christmas, we shouldn't be so friendly.
Why not, Jack?
Don't throw bouquets at me. Don't please my folks too much.
Don't laugh at my jokes too much. People will say we're in love. Don't
sigh and gaze at me.
Are you swooning?
Your sighs are so like mine. Your eyes mustn't glow like mine. People will say we're in love. Don't start collecting things. Give me my rose and my glove. Sweetheart, they're suspecting things. People will say we're in love, so in love. People will say we're in love.
Well, fellas, on this command performance, we thought we'd take a little bit of the heart of every town and city in America and pass it on to you. This will be State Street in Chicago, where a loudspeaker full of Christmas carols fights the noise of traffic. And this will be the little towns up north where the night is cold and still and you can smell wood smoke and pine trees and hear a baby crying 2 blocks away. And this will be a ranch house in Wyoming and a coal miner's shack in West Virginia, an apartment on Nob Hill in San Francisco and a trailer camp in California, the cathedral in New York. The carols of Christmas are quiet and peaceful, but they ring louder than the guns of war. They outlive all men. They stay with the living and go along with the dead, but they're endless. America is singing of Christmas, and command performance brings you home for the carols you've always loved. Francis and Ginny and Dinah are at the mic with the Ken Darby Singers, especially for you.
There's a little red brick church in your hometown. And the white snow lies deeply around it, and the trees are bare, but the sun is bright, and it kicks up little diamond flashes in the snow. Inside, the grown-ups and the kids are gathered for Christmas service. Mosaic windows let sunlight rainbow through to fall upon the congregation. Francis, will you do a bit of the carol they might be singing? Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King lot of the fellows all over the world have memories of bright Christmas mornings in that same little church, of scrubbed faces and eyes shining with the excitement of new toys, and that's something that's in the air on every Christmas morn. And in memory of all that, won't you do a bit of Hark the Angels Sing?
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
In lovely cathedrals throughout the land, you can hear them singing a song of peace-loving people of the United Nations who have no fear of the evil they are pledged to crush. For we are nations who find eternal strength in that eternal moment heralded by the carol that Dinah sings for you now.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above a deep and dreamless sleep. The silent stars go by. And in my darkening island, the everlasting light, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight.
Yes, we know Christmas has many memories. Little fir trees and strings of dime store lights that get all tangled up, and you never can find the one bulb that's gone out. And even the happiest Christmas has a bit of tears and sadness, too. But everything that Christmas has always meant to us and will always mean to us is wrapped up in silent night. We three girls don't mind admitting from the very bottom of our hearts that it makes the little shiver stand out on our arms to have the honor of joining with the many voices of the Ken Darby Singers and this big Air Force Orchestra in the carol that we hope to be singing with you next year at this time.
That's it, buddy. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all of us over here. God bless all of you over there.
Thanking the many members of the American entertainment industry who joined together in the spirit of Christmas to present this special holiday edition of Command Performance. Command Performance is arranged in cooperation with the Hollywood Victory Committee and is produced for the men and women of the Armed Forces of the United Nations by the War Department of the United States of America.
That was Command Performance's Christmas special on December 25, 1943. Well, that is it for Airchecks. The next 2 episodes will be devoted to New Year's Day specials. Starting January 6th, I will be uploading only one 3-hour episode. I will be very busy and this is all the time that I have for. Airchecks is a 3-hour podcast uploaded every Saturday and Sunday until January, where it is uploaded every Saturday. See you at the same time and the same channel.